low light adjustment on Zoom has made me rather blurry, but it's very nice to have you all here. Of course, we're just waiting for Dr. Libby, and while we're here in the background, I'm getting things set up on YouTube so that we can live stream. All right, I think that's okay. Yep, I can see myself and all you glorious people here. Thank you for joining us for the first Tame Your Brain of 2023. Are we all still doing that? Yeah, I know it's a new year, isn't it? But we still keep saying 2022. We're caught in the past, and Dr. Libby, when she arrives, is going to bring us right back up to the future. I think, we all know what Dr. Libby does, and I won't preempt just my own thoughts so that today's session is very, very timely, because of course, this whole mindset thing and getting ready for the new year and all that. And I don't know if you've been following Dr. Libby's posts, but I noticed something that really resonated with me in the first week of January. She's mentioned that we all feel that we're under a great deal of pressure to get ready for a new start, and I didn't know this, but she pointed out that actually that early part of January for some reason is not the right one to be getting ready for the new start. So you might have noticed that we postponed this from Tuesday. It's not for that reason. It's just because of event clashes and things. But here we are on the 19th of January, and so hopefully, we are ready for a new start, and it's all going to work out for us. I'm just, if I'm honest, I'm just having a little look into my emails and messages to see if there's any issue. I don't think there is. We're probably just waiting for Libby to powder her nose, etc., and we'll be good to go, I'm sure. I did just share the link with Rob and Libby, so I hope nothing has gone wrong. Guys, could you just excuse me for a moment while I just make sure that we're all good to go? Waiting room. Here's Dr. Libby. Where are we? Welcome, Libby. We are just... I'm really sorry. I think I just muted you as I was trying to ask you to unmute.
What are you trying to say, Duncan? What are you trying to say?
But there we go. Lovely to see you, and so excited for the first Tame Your Brain of January. I've just been explaining to these guys how I think it's really going to be a good one. So let's not preempt the situation, and as ever, let's not go big on the welcomes, because Libby's here and she can welcome herself. But welcome anyway.
Thank you, Duncan. Welcome, everybody, for being here today. I am so fizzing with excitement, because this is it, isn't it? We've come through the new year. We've had all the Christmas mayhem. We've had the days where we don't know what day it even is, and we don't know what we're supposed to be doing. And there's all of that crazy sort of end of the year. And that's a really intense energy, isn't it? Where we sort of feel like we're pulling everything together. But then you go to bed on one day and you wake up, and in theory, you're supposed to be someone new. And the world tells you you're supposed to be someone new. The world says to you, you now are supposed to be, press the button, ready to go. And I don't know about you, but I always had this huge sense of like, really? What am I supposed to change? I don't know what I'm supposed to change. So what we're talking about today is how we navigate this transition period. And we're in a really interesting phase in the world in terms of what the world is doing. There's a lot of shifting going on. I don't know if you saw that Jacinda Ardern has resigned. There's a huge power shift going on. So people like her, who I revere like a god, by the way, I absolutely think she's one of the most amazing leaders that we've had in the 21st century so far. People like her are getting to the stage where they're going, do you know what? I'm done. I'm out. We're feeling these big moves in society. What are we going to do for us? Leadership starts here. Leadership starts with you. So let's just warm ourselves up, as we always do. Jump in the chat. Let me know where you're listening in from. I love to hear where we've attracted these connections from around the world. This is such an international audience. I love it so much. Coming to you guys live is one of my things that I look forward to every month. I'm Dr. Libby. For those of you new to my work, my phrase is tame your brain. It's not just a marketing slogan. It is a way of life. It's about understanding that you have a choice. You have a choice. And you've got the ability to move through the world in a way that serves you. What I'm here for is to help you lead yourself to do that. I'm not asking you to be a mini-me. I don't want that. What I want is you to be the full power version of you. That's what lights me up, is helping you unleash yourself to be the biggest version of yourself that you can be. I've got some of my alumni on here today. Hello, Karen. Hello, Kate. I can see Paola. I can see we've got Leslie. Hello from Western Australia. We've got Karen in cheetah mode today. This is good. For those of you that haven't heard of my way of looking at the world and the 4 different brain types that we all run around being, and then we therefore translate into doing, stick around. We're going to cover that as well. But when we look at this be, do, have continuum, there is always a list of things we want to have, isn't there? There's a list of things that we think, if I just had that, my life would be perfect. Newsflash, and I said this last night in the series that I'm running on my personal page, which is called The 7 Deadly Sins. Come along and watch that later at 6 p.m. today, if this excites you today. The things that we don't want for the things themselves. We want them because of how we think they'll make us feel. And I'll say that again. This is a really important bit. We want the things we want because of how we think we'll feel when we get them. It's never the thing. It's never the thing. It's the feeling around the thing. And this is the be, do, have in its beauty, because we want the having. We do a certain doing to get us there, but it comes from a state of being. It comes from, who do I think that would make me? How would I be better, bigger, brighter, more if I had that thing? The answer is, you don't have to have that thing to be that person. You can be that person whenever you're ready. Are you ready? Are you ready to learn more about this? Because that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about, when we talk about a reboot, you know what I mean on a computer? The word means a lot, doesn't it, on a computer? When you phone IT and you say, my computer's doing this, what do they say? Have you switched it off and on again? Every time. Every time, no matter what it is, have you switched it off and on again? Yes, I have. I used to work in a big, massive office. I was one of, I think, 3 females out of 260 males in this very testosterone-driven, very high-octane city environment. And I was in the middle of the world of staffing. So I was in the middle of creating jobs for people. So I used to recruit high-level people into companies like the big boys out there, like BBC, big societies, big corporations, big government things. NHS was one of my clients. And what I would always do was always try and work out first, what's the outcome? What does this person want from their job? And then I'd go and find them a job that fitted that. How often do we do that for ourselves? And when I worked in this big environment, I was obviously with computers, not my strong suit. Those of you that worked with me before, you will learn this about me. I don't do tech very well. And so my computer would invariably break down, and I'd be in the middle of finding a job for someone that was on, say, £1,000 a day or £1,400 a day. And these people at that time, bear in mind, this is 2004, we're going back to, at that time, that was huge money. And so I'd be getting really like, can you fix my computer? Come and fix it immediately. And the thing they would say to me every time, go back, switch it off, switch it on again. Go back, switch it off, switch it on again. No matter what I was trying to do, it didn't matter what complicated, very expensive, very shiny task I was trying to make happen. You need to go, Libby, you need to go, Libby, listen to me, Libby, go back. So I'd be like, can you just come in now? And so I had to learn this form, annoyingly, this form of patience. And this is something I still struggle with even now with my crazy cheetah brain, is those moments where the tide needs to go out before the tide can surge back in. Does that resonate with any of you who might be feeling a bit of the ebb at the moment? You feel like your tide is going out a bit at the moment. And you might feel a bit confused by that because everyone around you is talking about Jan 1, resolution, this and that and the other. I'm here to tell you, I'm your little messenger on your shoulder. I'm that little angel sent to tell you that's just perfect. That's okay. That's okay. To have those ebbs is essential. Nature demands it. You look around you right now, the earth is barren, the leaves are gone. Nature has pulled all its energy down into the roots. You can't see, but they are getting ready for spring, aren't they? All of those flowers, all of those trees are ready to thrust up through the earth again and bloom. This is the natural cycle of events. The universe demands it. It doesn't just, it's not a nice to have. It's not a could do. This is one of the laws of the universe. There must be the ebb for there to be the surge. Why do we pretend that we can be on all the time? Why do we kid ourselves that we're somehow some sort of automated machine where you press go and we need a reboot, right? We need the rest and repair time. We need the fallow period for the fields to regenerate themselves, to stock up on the nutrients from the melting spring water that then feeds the new life. It's time for a reboot. It's time to go back to the beginning, switch it off and switch it on again. So let me know in the chat if this is landing with you very personally for you, if you can make this mean something for you. That's what I'm interested in. Because my job on this planet, I'm not an influencer. I'm here in a polo neck. I don't try to be shiny. I'm not draping myself over a Lamborghini, telling you, do what I do and you can have these things. I'm here to tell you ways that I've found to live life better. And this is, by God, this is one of the biggest pieces. And that's why I celebrate every January that I lead the resolution reboot process, because I know I'm moving people into this phase where you get to rest and repair. Leslie's saying this makes sense. I've been going on and not stopping like I really want to. Yeah. Karen's saying yes, but I'm holding a gap. Good on you, Karen. Duncan said we say that at GU. It's a thing. Yes, it is. This is what's really important to understand. You are not alone. And that's why this is such a powerful thing coming together like this. And when I look at those of us in the room, and I'm just going to switch my view so I can see all your lovely faces, which I do to stop looking at myself as well. I hate seeing myself on screen. It's never a comfortable place for me to just stare at myself. Hello, everybody. And when we are here together, what happens is our energies begin to sync to each other. Now, that might sound really woo, but it is known that we are biochemical creatures. It is known we're also electrical creatures. We have a resonance. We have a frequency. Everything has a frequency. Love has a frequency. Anger has a frequency. We vibrate at a certain level. People talk about high vibe. What they literally mean is raise your vibration. Now, you know this. You know this. You just might call it different words. But tell me, if I pull back curtain number 2 and show you a depressed person, is their body language upright and open or slumped and down? You know the answer. Is their eye contact direct and consistent or lowered and flickering with slower blink rate? Is their voice clear and with cadence, pitch, pace and tone, or is it monotone and lower? You know this. You just might call it different words, but we have a unique ability to read the human animal. Why? Because it's helped our species survive to this point. We've evolved the way we have because of our mirror neuron network, because the way your brain feeds itself the information. You've got your conscious and your subconscious. I'm going to talk to you today about the power of rest and repair and reboot to benefit both. Why? Because we bloody need both. We can't function just on your logical, rational brain. Your logical, rational brain is the one that says, just keep going, everyone else is fine. What's wrong with you? That is a big red flag. That is a big danger zone, because as soon as we start saying everyone else is fine, we tune out from our body's signals. Now, one of the biggest things I do as a coach is ask questions. And you'll know this if you've worked with me one-to-one, you'll know this if you've been in my group courses. One of the biggest things I do is ask a question that your brain then has to answer. So I'm going to ask you now. And I want you to answer honestly. And if you're brave, do it in the chat, because this is quite telling, this piece. What body signals have you been ignoring recently? Hi. What has your body been trying to tell you that you have suppressed recently? And be as open as you feel able to be. If you don't want to share in the chat, write it down for yourself. I want you to acknowledge, what body signals have you been not listening to recently? Because here's the thing. Your body always looks out for you. Your body always gives you a low blood glucose warning. Your body gives you a low oxygen warning. Your body gives you notification of exactly what you need. Do you listen to it very often? No. Eat more veg, says Duncan. Shoulder tension, says Sophie. Get more active, says Duncan. No, you taught me. Hibernation, says Karen. Good on you. Tiredness, says Kate. Sleepy, says Leslie. These are all signals. I'm more edgy, says Paola. These are signals. They're signals trying to get you to change your behavior. They're signals trying to get you to feed your body what it needs. Are you listening? Probably not. This is important because your vagal trunk, your vagus nerve, nerve 10, with the nerve that does blooming everything in your body, best nerve ever. And the nerve runs from your brain into your body. But guess what? In the vagal trunk, there's then a feed that goes back up from your body to brain. 80% of traffic in the vagus is body to brain. 80%. Think of that. We're supposed to be listening. We have got so unused to listening to our body systems and our signals that most Americans mistake thirst signals for hunger signals. Just think about that for a minute. We're so dialed out from being aware of what's going on in brain and body. We eat because we're bored, or we're tired, or we're stressed, or we're thirsty, or we're fractious, or we feel rejected, or we feel not enough. So we feed the hunger signal that isn't even there. And by doing so, we twist the dial. This is why there's a global epidemic of obesity in the first world nations, because we've got the ability to feed ourselves a different level of nutrition than our body actually needs. It's really dangerous. It's estimated that 70% of the conditions that end up in hospital could be prevented by proper diet. How nuts is that? Why do we do this? Because we've forgotten to listen. So I'm here today to shake you all up. We are going to press a reboot button today. We're going to do something. And then at the end, as ever, I always like to offer you ways to work with me more. This is the freemium level of my membership. So my circle is a way you can interact with me for free. In Genius U, make sure you're signed up to my circle. Oh, and please rate me as a mentor. There's a massive competition going on between all the mentors in here. I think I'm number 200 and something, but some of them are really competitive and they're all like number 1 to 5. And I never remember to do this bit. So I'm going to ask, please rate me as a mentor. If you like my stuff, go on there and put some stars on the things. But the thing with being the freemium level is you get all this stuff for free. You might want to interact with me more. That looks like one-to-one coaching, group coaching, or group events like my retreat, which is coming up this Sunday. I'll tell you about that near the end. So those of you that want to hear more, stick around. If you do want to interact with me. Duncan's doing his job in the chat. Thank you, Duncan. So Duncan's just put a link in. Join the community on Genius U so that then you get notified when I'm going live for these. This is one of the quality pieces of information you'll find on the Tinterweb. There are a lot of snake oil salesmen out there. I'm not one of them. I will always bring you science-based, evidence-based medicine for your brain. That's my job at Tame Your Brain. That's what I do best. So on Facebook as well, thank you, Duncan. I've got a community on there called The Sisterhood. It's not gender-based. It's just I'm female, and therefore I think about it as a sisterhood. And it's for entrepreneurs that want to better themselves in their life and business. So life and business success is what I'm here for on the planet, is to help get you to that next level. Think of it like propping a ladder up against a garden wall. You're inside this walled garden. Where you put your ladder, where you lean it, determines the view you get when you get to the top. What is it that you want to see on the other side? What do you want to get to? I see my job as helping you craft the rungs of that ladder to get you to the view and the vista that you want to experience for your life and business. I've done it for myself. Everything I try, Duncan's going, please leave a 5-star review. He's not as subtle as me. Well done. Blatant favoritism there from Duncan. Thank you, Duncan. The way that I look at life is you can do it in 2 ways. You can do it in 2 ways. You can do it in whatever vehicle you've landed up in here on this planet. Some of us are born just walking on our feet. Some of us can't walk. Some of us are gifted a bicycle. Some of us get a horse. Some of us get a car. Some go on to get a rocket ship. Now, you can stay at whatever level you're at, but here's the truth. It's your choice whether you stay or whether you craft the next level for yourself. The fact is you're in a vehicle, whether you like it or not. That's a fact. You can stay at the pace you're at and you can be content with that, or you can look to live life at the next level. I've constantly lived my life trying to move up more to the next level each time. Why? I don't know why. Some of us are just born like that. I've noticed some people are really happy to just be born and they don't have that desire. And I see them when I go to Tesco's and they're happy and they're given a uniform and they're really content to go home at the end of the day, and that's enough in their life. It's never been enough for me. I've always looked for something bigger, brighter, better, more. I don't know why. I just am. So depending on what you need out of life, depending on what you feel you want for the next level, I'm going to hazard a guess that I think the reason you're here with me is that something I've said at some stage has resonated with you. There's something I've lifted a spark within you at some stage, in some format, however we've connected on the Tinterweb. I don't know how, but whatever I've said, you resonate to something that I'm doing, and it might be that more thing. It might be that pursuit of happiness. I'm big on not the having of things, but the having of feelings. The having of how we feel is so much more important than the having of things. Things is a byproduct. I can say that because I've got a very healthy business with money coming at me from all directions. I know that. I understand that. But it's never about the money. You might think it is. But let me tell you, when you start running a heart and soul business, the wires connect so much easier. The flow starts. You know, I'm a flow consultant as well. When the flow starts, then it suddenly starts to feel amazing. Oh, thank you, Karen. 5-star review there. Thank you. 4 stars ain't the thing, Duncan. Yes, Sophie, I like the sound of horse level. I'd be happy 40 miles an hour for the rest of my life. So what is it you want? I want you to be really bold with yourself. When we've said about what am I not listening to in my body, that's one layer. Now I want you to tap into what you really desire, not what you lack. There's a difference. Let me explain. When we come from lack, we're talking about I want. So if you're saying to yourself on a daily basis, I just want to earn more money, what the universe hears when you say that is, I have no money. Slight flip, when you come at it from a position of what I desire is to have the ability to earn more than I believed possible in all areas of my life for the rest of my life. That is a very different energy. That doesn't come from lack, that comes from desire. I don't know if you hear the subtle coloration in those two statements. They're very subtle, but there is a huge difference in the way you live your life. I detached from money targets years ago. I stopped telling myself I've got to earn this much, I've got to do this, I've got to do this. As soon as I did that, the money started coming at me from all directions. Because why? I wasn't in a place of scarcity. Every time I put out a product, it sold out. Every time I opened up another place in my one-to-one coaching, it went straight away. Because what I was doing was offering more value than what I was asking for in pounds and dollars. And that comes from a place of desire and excitement, not a place of scarcity and lack. Huge difference, huge difference. So I want you to write down, just pick up your pen for me and just write down, what is it that I'm actually desiring right now that I haven't got yet? What are the feelings that I want to have if I had that thing? We're zooming in on the feelings here. This is a big part of the reboot, is understanding it's not about the thing. It's about how you think the thing will make you feel. It's never about the thing. It's the feelings you think you'll have when you get that thing. And that is very different. So write down, what I really want is. Now, have a look at that, because when we deliberately put ourselves out there, what we're asking is a question. The quality of your life is determined by the power of the questions you ask yourself. Here's the truth. Many people are content to never question. They're content to never ask what's going on. They're content to never check in with themselves. I've done this series, as I said earlier, of the 7 deadly sins. I'm having a great time. Come along, it's really fun. So I take the 7 deadly sins from biblical times, 2,000 years old. I'm putting a modern twist on them as to what is it that we actually need to embody on a day-to-day basis. So instead of the 7 deadly sins, I've come up with the 7 daily virtues. And those daily virtues are about the embodiment of living a fulfilled life. Because the reason religion was so prevalent was because it was a rule book. People realized if they lived by the rule book, they got certain rewards. One of those is acceptance into society. One of those is feeling good about themselves. One of those is the tribe, right? Because no one likes to feel like they don't belong. So if the tribe is doing this and I do that, therefore I am, and I am enough. Another was being hopeful that you would therefore get into heaven. You know, there were all these societal rules that were sitting very firmly on religion. And that's why they've endured for so long, is because a rule book is really suited to our brains. We love a rule. We love being told what to do, so long as we've got the autonomy to do it. We don't like being controlled, but we like being told, do this and you'll be great. I'm here to tell you that we need to evolve those 7 deadly sins to our modern age. Because has the world changed a little bit? Yeah, you bet your boots. But is our wiring still the same? So we've got to adapt around our wiring to what matters now. So let's be clear. So I've covered 3 so far. We started with comparisonitis, which is really common in this day and age. Why? Because of this, because of social media, because of Zoom calls. You can see into other people's lives. You're looking right now, you can see, I'll show you, look, you're looking into my house. This is my house, which I've just moved out of. So you can see down there, that's my coaching station for today. Look, a packing case with my bits of paper spread all around it and my fan heater because it's freezing. So I'm in this house decorating it, getting it ready to rent out. And you can see this, you're with me in my world. You can see what's going on with me. But that also means you can start comparing yourself, and that comparison, luckily not with me, because I'm nowhere near perfect. So I don't ever look like something you should necessarily try and copy. But I'm very real on my delivery for a reason, because I believe in authenticity and integrity. They're 2 of my cornerstones. So I would never pretend to be something that I'm not with you guys. But there are some coaches out there that will show you just the glossy and won't show you the real. And the trouble with that is you then think they are only the glossy. You then believe they are only that side which they're the happy photos with their child. Look at us, gorgeous family. I show you the ones where my rat bag children have just thrown something on the floor and stomped off, because that, I know that's as real, that's as valid a part of my experience. And I don't share everything on social media, but I certainly don't just show you the pretty bits, right? I'll show you my packing case, because we get confused in our little tiny chimpy brains when all we see is perfect. Instagram has made the perfect normal. So we now believe that we should be perfect, right? That isn't how this works. That isn't how any of this works. Those people that go online only wearing a filter and only beautifully presented with the glory of filters aren't showing you what's real. And therefore your tiny brain begins to believe that there's something wrong with you because you don't look like not even they look like the filtered version of themselves, but your brain believes you should look like the filtered version of them. And this is where we get confused, because comparisonitis is all about the measuring up in the tribe. It's natural and it's normal to do that. But when we reboot this part, my God, we get some traction. Because as soon as we remember the realness of you, as soon as we remember the realness of your life, then you can start from that place in gratitude, not lack. So coming back full circle to what we just said, as soon as we begin to believe we are somehow lacking, we've messed with the system. We've messed with this beautiful dopamine system that's in our brain for a reason, to get us to want to achieve and reward ourselves. Suddenly we're beating ourselves up because we can't be an Instagram filter. So we don't get the dopamine hit. So we end up feeling terrible. Do you see how this works? And what happens as a result of that is we end up worse off. So we talked about comparisonitis. We've also talked about wrath, which is the opposite of feeling the pity for self. It's the anger. It's the judgment. It's the fury. How dare you be succeeding when I'm not? How dare you be doing what I would like to be doing? And we do get a little bit judgy, don't we, on the internet? People stop scrolling and they come on to comment about how your values or beliefs don't match with theirs. Bring it back to self. What matters is your values and beliefs, not what you see somebody else doing that might be counter to yours. But again, going a bit biblical, we've been brought up on the Good Samaritan story, haven't we? You step in, you do something. And so we think we're obliged to step in and correct someone when their values and beliefs don't match up with ours. I'm here to tell you, you're on a hiding to nothing if you think that's your job on the internet. And we've got to reboot that, because if you keep doing that, you're going to exhaust yourself. Sit on your hands, do not row with strangers on the internet. That's something I have to tell myself. And then we've talked about last night, this idea of greed, this concept of greed. Now, newsflash, greed is essential. Greed is essential because greed is desire. It was very much portrayed in biblical terms as not being a good thing because they linked it to money. Now, I'm here to tell you, your brain is wired to desire what you want. That thing that you just wrote down about what you desire, just give me a little readout in the chat. If at some stage and in some way you've been made to feel guilty for wanting more, give me a 1 if this resonates with you. If in some stage and in some way you've been made to feel shame or guilt for wanting more than you've got in life already. Look at that, coming in already. 1. Give me a 2 if not, if you feel completely okay with wanting more in life and you think that's completely fine. Give me a 1 if you felt shame, guilt, or in some way a bit dirty for somehow demanding more of the universe than what you've already got. So we've got 1, 2, so far everything else is a 1. Okay, so now look at this. This is really interesting. When we apply shame, there is a part of our brain that is designed to immediately change your behavior. Why? Because shame is a control mechanism for a tribe. Shame is a mechanism whereby if people feel enough shame, they can literally die. So there's this tradition in some tribes of what's called pointing the bone, where when someone is ostracized by the tribe, when someone has done something big, so a major transgression, only at the nth degree of that transgression will then the tribe decide to ostracize them and put them out of the community. And they do this thing called pointing the bone. Now, the feelings in the human body around this are so strong, people have been known to literally die from the bone being pointed at them. Yes, Duncan's saying here in Vietnam, losing face is the worst thing possible. And this is where the tradition of harakiri came from in some Asian cultures, where they literally fall on their swords rather than live with the shame, because Shame is one of the most powerful emotions in the human animal. And I say that word very deliberately, very deliberately. You are an animal. You are an animal. You are a human animal. And shame applied to you is so incredibly painful that it changes your biochemistry. What does it do? It prompts a flood of cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline. It changes the way your heart contracts, makes it beat faster and stronger. Chronotropic and inotropic changes. It makes your respiratory rate change. It makes your blood pressure change as your vasculature gets shrunk down to pump the blood faster through the body. It changes your airways, they pop open more as the beta-2s get agonized by the drugs that are released from your body. The steroid wash changes everything. It makes you lay down more fat tissue just in case you then need to manage a fast. All of these changes are happening behind your eyes. The software behind your eyes is running this for you. You don't consciously think, oh, I better put more fat on my bum right now because I'm a bit stressed. That's what's happening though. That's literally what's happening. Your body changes for you. Now, why does this happen? Because we don't have time. In a crisis situation, your body has to go, 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 go. So it's 5 times faster and it's 5 times stronger than your rational brain. So if you're feeling some shame around any resolutions you've set this year, guess why they might not be coming true? Because you might be self-sabotaging straight away as soon as you said them out loud if you feel some shame around them. So that needs a bit of a reboot, doesn't it? Now, the good news is there is a process that I have around all of this. And I've done it for a couple of years. I've done it myself for 12 years, but I recently started doing it for my coaching clients. First in the business world when I was just a business coach, and now in the life, now I'm more of just what's generally called a success coach these days. I do it more for my one-to-one clients and my business clients. There is a process. There are 15 precise questions to ask yourself. Remember I said the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask yourself. There are 15 precise questions that you need to be asking right now as we transition into this next phase that will sustain you through the spring, the summer, the autumn, and the winter of this year. Because you are a seasonal creature. You are a creature of the tides. You are a creature that needs the ebb and the flow. When we don't have checkpoints throughout our year, when we don't have the stop points that make you stop and assess, when we just keep motoring on, guess what happens to the motor? You burn out. It is essential that we have moments in our year where you invest time in you, not in the endless doing, not in the endless outward. It's so easy to get sucked into your job, isn't it? It's so easy to just be on that treadmill and be doing everything for everybody else. I'm gonna plead with you actually, whether it's with me or with somebody else, please book time to do this for you. Please book time where you value yourself enough to do this. Please book time where you value the process of rebooting. Who knows what it feels like when you shut down all those tabs that are open on your computer with all the music playing from somewhere else and the text coming up here and the pop-up boxes, and then you clean it all out and then you open up again and your computer breathes a sigh of relief, doesn't it? Because suddenly it's like, oh, I can think, my RAM is freed up. You are like a particularly crap computer with 2 gig of RAM in your brain. Now, newsflash, your brain is responsible for 2% of your body weight, yet it sucks up 20% of your energy budget. Think about that. 20% of every food you put in your gob goes straight to your brain. It demands your oxygenated glucose first, because if you don't feed your brain oxygenated glucose, do you know what it does? It goes and breaks down your body tissues to get some. That's when we go into ketosis. This is when we go into problems in the body where we've deliberately created some issues by not having enough fuel. Your brain freaks out, it goes and eats your bum. So when we have a starvation situation, your brain has a way of keeping on getting the attention that it needs. So what do we need to do? What must we do? We've got to go and have a process and make sure that you give yourself, who is going to look after you if you don't? Let me just be real for a moment here. Who on the planet is going to prioritize you first, if not you? Who is going to take care of you, if not you? And what are you going to do if your body breaks down on you? Or your mind breaks down on you? What are you going to do then? Then will you prioritize you when it's too late? Everyone is the star of their own film. You're a bit player in everyone else's film. It's only in your film that you are the star. It's only in your film that you care for you. Please book this in, I urge you. I'm pleading with you because I ended up in hospital when I didn't. You remember I talked about those flags that you may not be listening to? Yeah, hands up. I was the worst person in the world at that. I was smoking 40 a day. I was numbing out on alcohol every evening. So I'd finish work and literally we'd finish work, we'd go straight across the road to the pub and then we'd be entertaining clients. This is all the city life. And I'd be in at my desk at 7:30 or 8 a.m. in the morning, and I would leave at about 7 p.m. at night and go straight to the pub and do 2 hours of client entertainment. I'd go home, I'd get up and do it all again. I was fueled on nicotine, caffeine, and alcohol. My body was crying out. I lost 3 stone in weight. I went down to 7.5 stone. I realized one day when I stood up and my skirt fell off, I'd lost so much weight, my skirt just slid down my legs. And I went, oh, and yanked it back up really fast. But I didn't know. I didn't know that I needed to listen to my body. I was 26. I thought I was made of titanium. I began to get a bit poorly. I began to cough a little bit. I thought, oh, I'm smoking too much. It's fine. It's fine. Someone said to me, you're looking a bit grey. I'm like, it's fine. Carried on. I'd skip lunch. I'd sometimes skip dinner as well, go home, sleep, wake up, do it all again. I kept going. Why? Because I cared about the numbers. I was all about the numbers. I was the go-to girl. I was one of only 4 senior consultants in that big company I told you about. I was the go-to girl. I'll get it done. So I kept getting it done. You know what I didn't do? Look out for me. My first sign was when I ended up in bed with a chest infection one weekend and couldn't get up and go to the party that was planned. My hideous ex abused me horribly verbally. Why aren't you getting up? You go to work. Why can't you go to this? He didn't realize that I was in bed because I couldn't physically get out of bed. He shouted at me for an hour before he left, and I was then in tears. And I just lay there feeling pathetic, but I still didn't get it. I still didn't get it until I then had to call the ambulance on Sunday night when I could no longer breathe by myself. And when they got to me and they put me on the oxygen and they were rushing me in, and they said, you do realize your lungs collapsed? And I was like, interesting. No, I didn't. And I had an atypical pneumonia that had gone so deep into my lungs, it had folded my right one shut, stuck together with all the glue inside it. I could no longer breathe properly by myself. I was then in a hospital bed for about a month. I was then at home for 3 months. So I'm telling you this from a place of someone who's tried it the other way. I've tried just the keeping going route. Let me tell you why it doesn't work, because your body needs you. Your body needs you. And I hope this is connecting with you. Thank you, Duncan, for saying that this is bringing a tear to your eye, because this means something to me. And the reason I've devoted my life to empowering and educating people about the body and the brain and about being the most successful, happy version of you is because I've been the opposite. And I can tell you how dreadfully tragic it is to look down at your body and realize what you've just broken. And how dreadfully sad it is to realize that you did it to yourself. Because there was a point when you could have rebooted yourself and you chose not to. So, thank you, Karen. So the reason I'm telling you this with such passion in my heart for it is because, like all of my products, the Resolution Reboot was created from a huge place of need and passion. Everyone needs this. I wish every kid was taught this in school. I wish every person that goes out into the world of work is taught that your work is just a job. Unless it's your own business, you're building someone else's swimming pool. If you're not building it for you, you're building for somebody else's dream. You're either an entrepreneur or you're working for one, which is why I love partnering with Duncan and the Entrepreneurs Institute, because I'm so passionate about teaching more people how to access this other version of life. And Roger was talking so beautifully this morning on the partner conference about the need to change. The last time there was a new curriculum was in the 1960s when they invented the International Baccalaureate. There's not been a change since then, and Roger's at the forefront of now leading this change in education, and I'm one of the partners helping do this and helping to give you this motivation, because what I'm doing is creating enough drive in you that you go out and do this for yourself. But I am going to offer you a way where you can do it with me as well. So I'm going to move on to that now for those of you that want to hear. And just jump in the chat and give me a yes if you're excited by what I've said so far, because this is what I'm on this planet for, is to infuse you. Good, Karen, so needed. It is good, Joy, so pleased. Spreadsheets can wait. Far to spreadsheet. Good, I'm glad, because this is my passion in life, is helping people get in control of this. Tame your brain is not just marketing. It is about the understanding that your brain will run away with you, and it can be your best friend or your worst enemy. What's it going to be for this year? Because now is the time. Now is the spring when things are about to burst forth. What are you going to grow? Mighty oaks from tiny acorns grow. You can start this small. You just got to start. So I need to urge you to remember the gap between knowing what to do and doing what you know. Action is the key. Take action. And good. We need to slow. We need to reboot. Guess what I'm running? Resolution reboot. So this is about a chance to stop and breathe. I've got an amazing woman coming in to deliver this with me. I'm doing the first half, so you get 3 hours with me. We're then going to watch the sunrise over the beautiful isle of Oahu in Hawaii. We're going to Hawaii because that's one of my spiritual home places. It's one place where I had a massive wake up, where I was on a conference with Tony Robbins when the Twin Towers went down, and I was in Hawaii when it happened. It always has a place in my heart for being a real place of rebirth for me. When I decided to move away from the city world, and I went and did my degree in behavior, and I learned how to teach people this stuff that I now do as my life. And so Hawaii is really symbolic. It's also in the past. I love the fact it's in the past. So when we're at 6 p.m. at night, it will be 6 in the morning there. And we get to start again. How symbolic is that? We get to start again. Every sunrise that comes up is a new beginning for you if you make it. Every time you choose to set a new intention for yourself, it's a new beginning if you make it. Every time you ask yourself a better question, you get a chance to redesign your life. I'm going to be walking you through the unique process that I've used over the last 12 years. This is what I credit with having built my way to a business that's earned me £1 million in property now. I'm sitting in my second house. My other house is my dream house. Now, this has all come about because of working at my business. But the key is action. I've taken action every step. I didn't just think things. I did things. I went and did things. So I'm going to urge you, click on the link that Duncan dropped in the chat. This is about moving from dream to vision, to goal, to plan, and then scheduling it so it actually happens. So it stops just being up here as a nice to have and comes down to here as a need to have. That's what I'm about, is turning this, everything is created twice. Everything is first a concept. This iPhone was once an idea in someone's head. Then they made it real. We are doing the creation process in the resolution reboot. Why is it called resolution reboot? Because we need to stop. We need to book time out of our busy lives. Otherwise, life just happens, doesn't it? Otherwise, life just races. Like, how is it already? What are we on? The 19th of January. Well, good news. We're about to have the first new moon of the year. It's the lunar new year on the 22nd. That's why I booked it that date. It's very symbolic. It's the opening of the next season of your life. So if you jump on the link and you click on it, you'll see on the page, there's my credentials so that you know you can trust what I'm saying. I hope that comes across in that you can trust what I'm saying. There's also a bit about what we're going to be covering. But the biggest thing that I can tell you is the way you feel when you listen to me here is in this hour is just the taster. When we go deeper, when I do a deep closed eye process with you, when we can get your brain into its deep subconscious mode, I can actually talk to the wiring in your brain. I can actually rewire the connections for you and with you, all with your permission, all if you're ready to play. But these are the sort of things that we can do together when we have a little bit longer. I'm limited to an hour here. I have to get off on the hour so that Duncan can upload it into their suite of products. And make sure you give Genius You a like. They are a fantastic organisation I'm proud to partner with. And they are someone that I'm really happy to promote to other people because of the importance of community. As Roger says, we've got the curriculum, there's the learning itself, there's the who's delivering it, how good is the quality of teaching, but then there's the community, and that's you, that's us. And it starts with one, it starts with the person, that's you. Then it's about the we, us together. And then it's about the world. Then it's about going out and changing the world, because we've got so much power as a collective. We have so much that we can create in traction if we are empowered ourselves. And that's United Nations goal number 4. That's what I'm on the planet for, that education and empowerment piece. Lovely Joyce is on the faculty as well. Yes, Duncan's saying the new moon is called Tet. Oh, that's interesting. I have to look at that. But yeah, the lunar new year is really significant because it marks a start. Because otherwise, when are you going to do this? Are you going to fit it in when you're walking around Tesco's shopping for your dinner? Unlikely. Are you going to fit it in when you're sitting there mindlessly scrolling on Facebook? Unlikely. Are you going to switch off EastEnders and do this instead? Unlikely. This is why I've always got a coach. I've always got a mentor. I've got 2 at the moment, actually. But I've always got someone that leads me by the hand. I pick someone that's at the next level up, that's just a few steps further on the path than I am. They're not better than you. If they're just a few steps further on, they've just got the experience of walking that path. That's where I am for you. And just because I'm that few steps along in certain places, like the knowledge of the brain, the knowledge of human behavior, I can then lead you. But you also then need to lead yourself. So have a look at the link in the chat. The link is to the page which tells you all about the resolution reboot. The price at the moment is going to go up. It's only there for another couple of days, so please jump in. We go live Sunday at 3 UK time. However, you get access to the record. If you can't make it on Sunday at 3 UK time, that's fine. You get access to do it when you can, but because you've paid money for it, you then have a compelling reason to do it. You won't if you're just walking around Tesco's. I can promise you that. Just like I didn't until my lung collapsed. Took me a bit longer than I hope it will take you. I had to have a very big shouty signal for me to stop and reboot. By the way, that was 2001. That was 2001. And I, from that moment, made the decision, never am I going to let it get that bad again. And I've held that resolution, and I always now listen to my signals. The resolution reboot that I do every year is one of those pieces that I've put in to my life very deliberately to make sure that I never let that happen again. What are you going to put into your life? So click on the link, open the page, because the chat's about to disappear when we close up this Zoom call. Make sure the page is open for you to have a look at afterwards. And please do just go and have a look, even if you aren't ready to commit yet. Go and have a look. But I do hope you jump in, because the places are going fast. I think we've already sold 10. So there's only a few more days to get in. And then we will be going live on Sunday. So in terms of what we do from here, what I'm going to urge you to do anyway, whether you join me or not, please go and write down, what are you not willing to settle for anymore? And I want you to give me 5 emotions that you felt this year that you are going to decide, I will not allow that in my life for this next year. 5 emotions that are so horrible, that are so unworthy of you, that you have decided to draw the line, step over that line, and make this the last time that you allow those in. Okay, so I'm going to close just to leave any time in case we want any questions, so that I make sure I get off on the hour for Duncan. Thank you for being here today. You could be anywhere on the internet. I'm honoured you're here to play with me. I've had a brilliant time. Thank you for interacting in the chat. For those of you that have come in late, go back and watch the start, because this is an important one. This is about you. This is not about business. This is not about money. This is about here. because you can't build a business and you can't make money unless here is sorted. And when I say here, I mean deep inside, not the surface, not the shiny, not the bro marketing, not the Lamborghini marketing, here. So if you've got any questions, you can type them in the chat, or you can come on camera and I'll pull you up if you put your hand up. Paola's asking a question. Thank you, Paola. Is the 7 Deadly Sins Facebook event open to all? Yes, Paola. If you go onto my Facebook page, Dr. Libby, the videos are posted on there. If you go into the Sisterhood, they're posted on there. But live is in my personal Facebook page, so Facebook profile. So if you come in and friend me and I'll know who you are, then you can come in on there, and yes, you'll see it tonight at 6 p.m. I'm going live. That will be in my other house. So that will be there with my sparkly lights in the background in the new House of Dreams, which has its own enchanted forest, as the kids call it, which in the snow just looked magical. And I moved in on the snowiest day in December, just before Christmas. And so I'll always hold that memory of like, I created this absolute wonderland for my babies. So yes, go and have a look on my profile, and I will see you there tonight at 6. We're covering tonight this piece that we started talking about today, which is about action, about taking action to move yourself to the next level. So if you want to go deeper into that, it's a 20-minute session, and that's 6 p.m. tonight. Thank you. Great question. Anybody else? All good? All good.
Guys, I'm just dropping into the chat Libby's Facebook group again if you wanted to join that session.
Thank you so much. Much obliged. So yes, the Facebook group, the Sisterhood, is a great one to join anyway. That's where I do other freemium teachings like this, where you can interact with me without paying anything until you're certain that I'm the right mentor and coach for you. Then you can jump into one of my group programs, and then you can jump into one-to-one if you feel moved to do so. Although I'm nearly fully booked again, Duncan. I've opened my doors again, and then suddenly there's been a rush, and then I'm running out of spaces. So get in quick if you want to work with me one-to-one. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, Duncan, for having me for the first one of the year. It's exciting to be back.
Yeah, wonderful. And guys, we've got the whole year ahead of us, another 11 sessions this year. So we're just booking those in and fixing the themes and all the rest of it. So as ever, thanks to all of you for being here, and especially thanks to you, Libby.
Such a pleasure.
For another wonderful. Cheers, guys. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.